Hi, welcome to Indie Production Source, Episode 2. My name is Charles Stewart Jr.
And I'm Kelly Nealon. In case this is your first time viewing, Indie Production Source is a video podcast encompassing everything to do with independent video production. So thank you for joining us. This is Episode 2.
Yeah, I definitely want to thank everyone that sent in emails and left us comments about the show. We really appreciate all of them. We know this show's a work in progress, and we definitely want to make it better. So keep sending in the comments and suggestions.
Yeah, also I want to thank Celltex for sending us a nice email and supporting us on their blog. Thank you.
Yeah, well, let's start the show. I was able to do an interview with a guy named Tim Snell, who is the writer-director of Pool Party. It's a low-budget feature film that got distribution, and you can find it on places like Amazon.com. Very cool what those guys did, and this is the interview. I just want to give a little disclaimer before we roll it. We're doing stuff on iChat, so we can pretty much get anywhere in the world. We don't want to limit ourselves to just our area. So, and just with saying that, it's definitely a work in progress, so just bear with us as we work out the kinks. Okay, if we can talk about the film, what were your influences for this film?
Well, my first influence was making money.
Yeah.
I had formed a production company with a friend of mine, and our goal was to try to make movies that could become profitable while at the same time making them as inexpensive as possible. We had two other scripts that we were trying to raise money for. One was a horror script that I had written, and one was another raunchy comedy that he had written. And we kept being told by everybody, because we were nobodies, that we essentially either needed to come to them with cast attached, preferably A-list names that wanted to be in the movie, or we had to come with them with a finished product, and as a distributor, they would then either give us money for it and do what they call the negative pickup, or at least agree to distribute it, with whatever percentage coming back to us. And the market has definitely, since we started this whole process, I think gotten a little worse. I think 10, 15 years ago, it would have been easier to get money up front for a distribution deal, or even after you get one movie distributed on DVD or cable, to go to another distribution company and say, hey, give us $50,000 or $100,000 so we can at least get started on something else. Pool Party came about, I was on a cruise in the Caribbean, of all places, and I just had this idea of a guy who couldn't pass the bar exam. And risky business figured very prominently into my original script notes and outline for this. It was supposed to be kind of a modernization of risky business. It didn't quite turn out that way. And I've always been a huge fan of the original American Pie movie, and I thought, the thing that I loved about American Pie was that it was a raunchy comedy with heart that had really good character and really good story development, in my opinion. And I was like, ooh, maybe I could do that too, naively thinking that I could. But we also had 3 other writers involved in Pool Party, so, the script kind of went through its iteration.
You mentioned distributors. So you said you went and talked to them. When you were talking to them, did you see, are you guys looking for a raunchy comedy? Are you guys looking for horror? I mean, did they give you any information on that, or?
No, not really. We had a couple distributors actually tell us that horror was dead, that there was no market for it, which I was like, what are you talking about? Hollywood keeps making horror movies all the time, and, even if they only make $20 million, they make $20 million like it's a horror movie.
Right.
I think the market has always been bigger and is bigger for horror than raunchy comedy, in my opinion. We have several distributors tell us raunchy comedy is huge, because raunchy comedy tends to sell well in foreign markets versus, we didn't want a cerebral comedy. People specifically said we don't want Woody Allen type humor because it works really well in America and not so well overseas, versus raunchy comedy that can be more physical in nature. Several distributors did say, hey, that would actually work probably pretty well, especially in the Asian market. We still don't have any foreign distribution for the movie.
Right.
But at least we made a raunchy comedy that I think some people do enjoy.
Okay, for this week's plug, we're featuring the documentary Four-Eyed Monsters. And some of you might have heard about it because it's the first feature-length film that was uploaded onto YouTube in its entirety. And what it is, a guy and a girl meet for the first time, and their relationship is almost a social experiment where they don't speak to each other in each other's presence for 4 months. And the only way they communicate is through, you know, pictures and notes and mixed CDs and what have you. So the budget for the film was $8,000, but since this was their main focus throughout those 14 months, they went $50,000 in debt just with living expenses and whatnot, and I'm not surprised living in New York City. And the film premiered at Slamdance, picked up some awards including the Sundance Channel Audience Award. It was shot in New York City over 14 months, primarily with a Panasonic DVX-100. For more information about Four-Eyed Monsters and to purchase the DVD, check out foureyeedmonsters.com. That's their website address. All the information you need is available there, foureyeedmonsters.com.
I find that really cool that, you know, you can gain that much popularity for a documentary through the internet. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, the internet's definitely a valuable source for, you know, independent filmmakers nowadays because it gets you a fan base and it gets you out there. So, you know, why aren't you doing it?
Yeah, so definitely it's a lesson to all of us.
Yes. So
that's it for this episode. Please, if you got any comments, suggestions, or anything about the show, email us at ipsource.tv@gmail.com. You know, again, we just want to make the show better, so anything you can send us will be greatly appreciated.
Yeah, check out the website.
Yeah, I'm not done yet, buddy. So, if you got a fresh find or a plug or even an interview idea, please hit us back at that email address I gave you.
Right, but if you go to the website, ipsource.tv, you'll find the web address. So ipsource.tv is more important because
we're having a little battle here.
Email address on the site.
I'm the email guy. He's the website.
If you got any questions or comments, you can find the email on ipsource.tv. And then also we have the forum, which right now is looking a little light, but that's why we need you to help us out with we want your input on the show. And also if you got questions about cameras, editing, program motion, whatever, the forum, we're trying to get that started, and we need your help and whatnot. So check it out, ipsource.tv, and it's up and running.
ipsource.tv@gmail.com is really cool too.
So. Well, that's just an email address. That doesn't really help you out as much as a website.
It's a direct link to me.
Well, no one wants to talk to you per se.
Right.
But ipsource.tv, you can get all of us and our help and whatnot. So check it out, ipsource.tv. And next week... Yeah,
that's it for this episode. Next week, please tune back in. We've got writer-director Vince Foster for his short film Pack a Lunch, which looks really funny.
Definitely,
so, that's pretty much
check it out. Thanks for joining us, episode 2, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you.
Goodbye.